Welcome back into the shop, everybody. It's great to have y'all here. We are on video 15 of this restoration of my 1976 Argosy Airstream. There she is. So much is happening right now. That's a little sneak peek tease to what's going on in this video. Now, in the last video, we took it down to San Antonio to Wonderlust Ironworks, and they fabbed up some awesome custom wheel wells. So to start this video, I'm not going to show you the process of installing those completely. I just kind of want to talk you through it real quick, and then we're going to jump into some real fun footage. Now, the first thing I did with those wheel wells was paint the interior of them. I wanted to paint them with the coal tar epoxy black to match the frame, basically, and just up underneath that wheel well, I wanted it to be black and look real nice. So I rolled that on, and then once we did that, we took them into the trailer, and I fitted them. So the side of the trailer obviously has a slight curve. We got to fit those wheel wells to match that curve so we don't have a huge gap and water coming in from our wheels. So I basically just back and forth from the shop to the trailer, grinding and working that curve in until I got it how I liked it. On one wheel well, there was a pretty sizable gap, just the way it had been fabricated. It was a little tricky. It was probably about a 3/4 to an inch gap. So I ended up taking some sheet aluminum and just shaping that to the curve and then screwing that right to the edge or to the face of the wheel well. I think that solved the problem, and then I'll come back from the backside and seal all that in. So when we installed them, basically there was a 1-inch lip running the length of that wheel well. I just buck riveted from the outside of the trailer into that, sealed it up down in the C channel, and then came back with the Total Boat aluminum boat sealer, which has been a really good product, and sealed in all on the inside where the wheel well meet the side of the trailer. So that kind of walks you through that process. In this video, we're going to repair the dents on the side of the trailer, which is really exciting and cool. I did not even think I'd be able to pull this off, but I found someone who was willing to help me, and we're going to do that. We're going to do the layout. I'm going to get the approval from the wife, which is always a thumbs up. Now, before we jump in, I want to mention that this video is sponsored by Acuva. They make a really awesome water purification system that I'm going to be putting in the camper, a Canadian-based company. Really awesome product. Couldn't be happier to have it. I'm going to tell you a lot more about it here in a little bit, so stay tuned for that. Let's jump in and get to work. Okay, so I think I got it figured out. I feel pretty good about the layout this far. Obviously, we got to bring the boss in, let her take a look. For now, what I'm going to do is start laying out where my lights will be. I'm actually going to lay them out on the floor. What I can do is transfer that to the ceiling. So let me give you an example. Say I want a puck light right here. I can use the laser we were using earlier, put the beam on there, and it'll shoot a beam straight up to the ceiling, and I'll know exactly where it hits in the ceiling. So I can go ahead and put my skins on and then drill out my holes based on my floor layout. Very back, obviously, is going to be, this is the bed where we sleep.
This is our bed?
This is our bed.
Okay.
Does that look good? Like, that's a pretty good sized bed.
It's a pretty good size.
Yeah, and the mattress will be curved around, so someone will get to lay right by the windows. So you get out of bed, you have this little walkway.
Thank you.
These two marks here is your door to go into your bathroom.
Okay.
Sink, vanity, this is all countertop.
Yeah.
And then this is shower right here.
It's the
Steps
bee.
up.
It's the bee.
And this is shower. Okay, so behind you, right here, from like this point up is just an open loft, like a bunk.
Just one?
And it'll have curtains, so you can close it off.
Okay.
Just one. So stopping here to here is your stove.
Okay.
So you'll have a grill here and then an oven here. The sink is directly in front of this window.
I love that.
And then there's a fold out, so this is all just open. But I think I'm going to make a fold-out countertop that you can hinge up to get more space.
Yeah. It's so spacious over here, and it feels so crowded right there.
It's tight back there, because it's kind of the way it has to be.
Just the way it is.
Hey, what do you guys think? Are y'all excited?
Oh, yes, we
Are y'all ready to start camping? How much longer do you think it'll be now?
Let's see. I'm gonna guess May of next year.
No.
Sooner?
I'm shooting for like January.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Spring break,
Of
2021.
course, we all know I'm way off on that. So. Okay, babe. You think do you give it the approval?
I give it the approval.
All right.
Thanks for working hard.
Okay, so let's take a real quick break from laying out this trailer. I've got a lot of really cool components that I'm starting to get in the mail for this thing, and I want to show you one right now that I'm really excited about. Here's what I'm looking for. A Cuva. This is a water purification system designed and made in Canada. Check out the back side. So this is basically the system. I'm going to take this into the camper right now. We're going to unbox it. I'm going to walk you through it and show you what it's all about. Okay, so before I open it, this filter is 100 times more effective than any other water filter used for RVs or motorhomes. It'll provide 99.9999% disinfectant against bacteria and viruses. Also, it's the first and only UV LED water disinfectant device in the world, which is NSF 55 Class B certified. Now, in the water world, that's a big deal. So let's check this out. You basically get your filter, and I think this is going to be our smart faucet. Comes with instructions. So the actual model number here is the Eco NX Silver. Here is the UV lights. Very cool looking. I've actually seen one of these installed on an Airstream, and they are pretty slick. It has a light on it. You got the water inlets and outlets there. You got power. And this is your inline filter. So you get out sediments with this, which is great to have. Most RV filters are only doing this. You're not getting any that are killing bacteria and viruses. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little bit of a freak about my water. I do not like the idea of going to random RV parks or even filling a tank at like a gas station with water that has not been purified. The alternative to that is buying bottled water, so I could fill my fridge with bottled water, but I don't like doing that at all because it's one-time use plastic. I think it's wasteful, it's bad for the environment, and that's exactly why I wanted this system in my RV, because I don't want to have to deal with bottled water, and I want to make sure that I have safe drinking water. Another great thing about this is it is designed for RV, so it works on 12-volt power. You can hook right up to it hooks right up to your battery and uses very little power. So boondocking with this is a non-issue. It also filters 70,000 liters in its lifetime, and that's a lot of water. It'll take me a while to go through all that. This is the smart faucet. So the idea with this is it has an LED light right at the base there. So when you crank it on, the LED light comes on, and you know that the UV filter is working. So it kind of gives you that peace of mind, and you know that this is on and working. When this light comes on, you fill up your water. Okay, so you get your faucet, your UV light, and your inline filter, all for $4.99. Now, considering that this is not just a filter, it's an actual purification system killing viruses and bacteria, that is a very, very good price. Now, here is the best part. Acuva is offering $100 off to my viewers. That's a big deal. So you're getting all of this now for $3.99. Links in the description. There's no reason why. If you own an RV, motorhome, or van, go check it out. I just want to say a huge thanks to Acuva. I can't wait to get it all set up, hooked up. You're going to see that follow-up video soon. Thank you for sponsoring the video, and even bigger thanks for offering $100 off to my viewers. You guys got to go check it out and see what it's all about. Next step in this process is to get the bodywork fixed. All these damaged spots. You see one in that corner? Definitely more damage there. Damage down here. Oh, in that giant hole. We're gonna fix this. I don't exactly know how yet, but he wants to fix that. Get everything out that's in there and redo it. So, lucky for you guys, you don't have to wait 4 or 5 days to see that. We can fast forward to it right now. All right, welcome back. Today's the day we're gonna fix some dents. Jake is coming over this morning. It's pretty early, a little dark, but I wanted to get a head start on things. He recommended that I go ahead and remove all the epoxy here, whatever they put in this fiberglass, and we redo this. I'm gonna work on that, try to get a head start, get things prepared. It's pretty cool right now, but I think we're gonna have a pretty hot day, unfortunately. Welcome to Texas. So we got Jake here. Jake, thanks for coming out. Appreciate it, man. So your business is True Craft PDR?
Yes.
Okay, so tell my viewers a little bit about your background.
So I have about 10 years background of auto body, paint and body. Got into PDR to expand my knowledge and turned it into a full-time gig.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And business is good.
Business is great.
All right. I'll put a link in the description if you live in this area. You might want to check this guy out if you need dent repair. We're gonna start right here, right? Tell me how we approach this. What do we do?
So I don't know how old this filler is here. So we're gonna dig that out, clean it up so we can see what we're working with. We're gonna do some hammer and dolly work, do some brazing work, and then redo the filler work so that when you paint it,
it's nice and smooth.
Yeah, it's nice and smooth.
Cool. All
I'm
right.
gonna do that all 4 corners.
All right, let's jump on it and do it. Also, Jay cooked us up with Mary's tacos. These are delicious. And we got coffee. We're all set. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty dang good.
Yeah, so now let's hammer and dolly some of it. Like go back on the inside and then we'll just clean up some of these ribs.
Okay, okay.
So we'll just work right here.
Okay.
We'll work this section. Once I
Okay.
like it, then we'll go move and then we'll move here. It's like kind of the width of the dolly.
So go maybe start like this and just work down like that.
Yeah.
And then we'll step over. Okay.
Yeah, about the width of the dolly.
Okay. So the next step we're going to do is I got some of these brazing rods. We're going to try these out. Basically heat the metal on the trailer, and then these should kind of weld and fill in these holes. All right, so I think we got most of this done. This is impressive, man. I can't believe how good this turned out. Way, way better than it was to start. We're gonna come back in and do some filler work on it because it's getting painted. That's the advantage of painting, is we can fill a lot of these imperfections, take care of that. So now we're moving on to the other side. He's gonna start up top here, knocking out this. This was pretty bad, so they've pulled on this one as well. Metal's kind of stretched out. We're gonna give it a shot. All right, so we're mixing up some Bondo, right?
Fiberglass, kitty hair.
Kitty hair. I've been told that you do not call filler Bondo.
Yes, no.
That's bad.
Body filler is body filler. Bondo is a brand.
Makes sense. And this stuff, you can sand it really easy.
No, this stuff's really hard to sand.
Is it?
Yeah.
So you want to lay it on pretty flat.
Hard as a rock. Yeah, the inside layer we won't even sand.
That stuff's 100%. That's just waterproof. That's what's so good about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's falling day. We got all the dents fixed. A big thanks to Jake, man. That was so much fun watching his craftsmanship, his process for hammering out and those dents and using the heat to kind of move the metal and shrink it. It was impressive and definitely not easy. So thank you, Jake. His wife and kids ended up coming out, and we didn't really film the end of our work. Kind of having a good time hanging out. So I just want to say, Jake, if you see this, thanks for the help. I think he's going to come back out and we're going to Bondo. Sorry, Jake, shouldn't say Bondo. We're going to fill the panel, and these little areas here that we fiberglassed, we're going to fill those as well. And then he's going to help me sand it and maybe even prime it. So we'll see where we go with that. It's a little bit ways down the road. Got some sanding. You can see I used his little sander, worked really well around these rivets. So I cleaned up all the paint. I've still got a lot more to do on that. And he left me that sander, so I'm going to work on that. Now that we have the dents repaired, I can seal up the inside. So that is exciting, and that's a big step forward. So we're gonna start insulating this week. First thing I gotta do before I do that is there's a few things we gotta add to the outside. Freshwater fill inlet. I'm gonna put it right here. This is the old one. It is a very, very cool inlet, and I hate to replace it because it's vintage, but it is a total, it looks like an old ashtray. I mean, it's pretty gross. The plastic in there is all cracked. Unfortunately, I'm replacing that, and I'm putting a new freshwater inlet in somewhere right in here. So here is our freshwater hookup right here. It's got a pressure reducer on it. I think it reduces down to 65 PSI. This is the fill, freshwater fill. So unfortunately this is, it's not the prettiest. It's plastic. It's the best option I could find. So let's take this one out, drill the rivets out, patch the hole, and then we'll put the new one in right about here. Okay, so there it is. It's basically a gravity fill, so you just pop this open, put your hose in there, and you fill your tank. I use stainless steel screws. We put butyl tape to seal in from the back. I'll also probably run a bead of some kind of sealant there, and then we'll get a gasket that'll fit in there and seal this all watertight. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is not near as cool as that, and I agree with you. Let me explain myself. So the trailer's getting painted white, 99.9% sure of that. We're gonna go kind of an off-white. So obviously I would never put a white trim piece on an aluminum Airstream that's polished. This is an Argosy and it gets painted. So it won't stand out near as much once we paint it. Secondly, parts for Airstreams are super expensive. So they make a stainless steel version of this that's like 4 times the price. Maybe one day I'll break down and spend over $200 on a water fill, gravity fill. Right now, in the midst of all this money I'm spending, this is gonna do just fine. Once it's all painted, obviously it's not gonna be such an eyesore standing out. Now we need to throw in the actual water fill for the freshwater hookup. Okay, so we've got the fill inlet right here. We'll have a water tank sitting right here. See, I've marked it out with my blue tape. That'll just gravity feed right in the tank. This is a vent for when you fill it, and then our line will come out to a water pump that'll sit right in here. That is the water inlet. So if you're on city water, it'll come in this point, and this will just hook into the water lines in the trailer. Like I said, it has a pressure regulated valve in here, so we don't have an issue if there's too much pressure coming into the camper. This will protect us from that. What I want to do this morning while it's somewhat cool before it gets to be 100 degrees is climb up on the roof and get these fantastic vents installed. Now I got these from eTrailer.com. As most of you know, eTrailer is helping support this build, so I'm going to link those in the description. These are really good vents, really good fans, pretty standard on these Airstreams, or any RV for that matter. Let me climb up here and show you what we got going on. So first thing I had to do is get my old patch off right there, so I'm starting here. So we cleaned it all up. I got a little bit more to do, but I want to get all the old grime and junk cleaned off. You actually have to square these holes up, so they don't have, the vents don't have rounded corners. So now I have to cut and square that up. Opening up, drop the vent in, screw it down, and then we'll move over and do the back one. Okay, so it fits in there just fine. Pretty simple job. It's a 14 by 14 hole. So what I'm going to do is get some acetone and clean up really good around here, and then we'll put some butyl tape on that flange and screw it down. Alright, first one's in. Obviously learned a few things on the first one, made a few mistakes, which will make the second one go a lot quicker. First off, I had a little bit of gap here. Obviously we have a curved roof, so I mean there's a little bit of a gap, but it pulls the roof up to it, and your sealant can kind of fill in the gaps. Made the amateur move of trying to suck down this gap. Obviously you're in very thin sheet metal. You got like one thread into the metal, so it just stripped out the metal on these two. So I had some old railing, aluminum railing from file cabinets. I cut some of it, backed it behind the sheet metal, and screwed through that. I think it's like, you know, it's probably 1/8 of an inch thick. So then the threads could grab on, and I was able to suck this down a little bit better. Okay, job done. Took a while on that one. The next one will go quicker because I know exactly what I'm doing. Also, I'll come in with a little bit of sealant. It's an adhesive sealant from Total Boat, and I'll get this all sealed in right here and do a little bit more sealing from the inside, and these will be done. Here's what I was talking about, that little backer rod I put in, and I just basically rigged up a stick to wedge it so when I screwed down it didn't fall out. Redneck engineering at its best. So now I've got plenty of thread on there, and this thing is locked in. Pretty cool looking, pretty sweet little deal. I love how the fan's clear so that you can see right up through there, even with the fan. Okay, huge thanks to everybody for tuning in. That does it for this video. Appreciate everyone who watches these. We are working on installation and wiring as we speak, so that's coming to you very soon in the next video. There's a cool collaboration happening right here, lithium-ion batteries. We're going to be going into detail about that in the next video. I'm going to explain all that to you, so stay tuned for that. Also a full wire diagram. You get to see everything, how I lay out all the wires, how I'm running all the wires. That should be some really exciting content. I want to say a huge thanks to Acuva for sponsoring the video, for providing the water purification systems, and even more for providing $100 off to you guys. So head on down the link in the description. If you have an RV Airstream, you should go get one of these because it will purify any viruses, bacteria out of your water, which is a big deal. Finally, just a big thanks to y'all for tuning in, and stay tuned. We got some exciting content. We'll see you next time.